GoHighLevel is literally everywhere, but getting started with it can be super frustrating given that the overall interface easily can look intimidating and also there are just so many features on HighLevel. So I can promise you guys that by watching today's video, you are going to learn everything needed to know to successfully implement HighLevel onto your business. Now we'll go through everything step by step, so I would highly recommend you to watch this till the end and take some notes. However, I will also leave you the chapters down below along with a link to HighLevel. By using that link, you guys are going to get access to an extended 30-day free trial, as well as access to my bonuses worth over $2,000 for completely free. This is going to include proven to convert funnel templates and a lot more. Now, HighLevel is an all-in-one marketing tool, meaning that you are basically going to get all of the different features that you could probably imagine. Now, when being logged onto the HighLevel dashboard, you are going to have two different views. First of all, the agency view, and then also the account view. On the account view, you can then find all of the actual features of HighLevel, like your email marketing, your service, your campaigns. You can then actually find your automations, you can find your funnel builders, and so on, all inside here. Now, one of the biggest upsides of HighLevel is that you can actually create unlimited of these sub-accounts to basically manage all of the data of your customers separately. Now, additionally, you can then actually also fully white label HighLevel with your own logo, your own colors, and so on, to then basically resell all of the functions onto your customers. However, you can obviously also just use HighLevel for your own business and you don't have to necessarily white label everything. Now, when keeping all of that in mind, the pricing should now make quite a lot more sense. So a lot of people don't know this, but actually we do have 3 different plans on HighLevel. First off, the starter plan. This is going to give you guys all of the different features inside HighLevel. The only downside is that you are going to be limited to 3 sub-accounts, meaning that this plan is probably only going to be applicable to you if you are going to use HighLevel for your own business. If you, for example, are an agency, you would have to actually go for the unlimited plan right here, which is then going to give you guys unlimited sub-accounts for as many clients as you need, as well as a branded desktop app. However, if you do want to fully customize, white label and resell everything, you will have to go for the SaaS Pro plan. Now, this is a little bit on the pricey side, however, this is generally speaking also where the most money is being made. And with the SaaS Pro plan, you can basically create an additional income stream besides the actual service that your agency, for example, offers. Alright, so let's finally get started with the agency view. So this is how it is going to look like. On the left, you are going to see an overview of all of the different sections inside here, and on the far bottom left, you're going to have the general settings for your HighLevel account. Right here, you can basically customize your profile, company, team, and billing information. Now, some important notes on the agency view are that right here you can set up your Stripe account, you can basically connect and enable different kind of apps to resell for your customers, and you can also access the app marketplace to integrate HighLevel with other tools. But as for the other features, most of them are pretty self-explanatory, so I will not waste your time with going over them. Let's get started by heading over to sub-accounts right here and click on add sub-account. Then you are going to have the option to basically select any of the pre-made snapshot templates. Basically, by using them, you are then going to get custom templates for your email marketing, websites, and so on. However, I'm just going to get started with a blank snapshot, as this doesn't really matter too much, and I will then simply just add an account manually. I'm then just going to save this. So I'm just going to put in myself right here. We will then also have to put in an email address as well as the business name, street address, city, country, business niche. I will just put in, basically business niche isn't really important. Then also the state, province, region, zip post, as well as phone number. And then also the actual time zone where this contact is going to be in. So essentially right here you can then put in your customer information or the information of your own business. I'm just going to save this right now. And now we are going to be redirected onto the sub-account view. Right here we can see all of the account details, we can see the activity, and we can then actually also enable different kind of reselling options for this exact contact and for this exact account essentially. So let's actually now switch to the account view. Let's now open up the Elias Krause test right here, and I'm just going to open this up, and this is now going to look Very similar to the agency view, but all of the tabs right here on the left actually changed. Before we are going to dive into that, let's now actually head over to settings, and right here once again we can then add our own business logo, our company billing information, our staff, our opportunities and pipeline, and essentially this is then going to be the actual business settings. So I would recommend you to set this up either for your own business or for the business of your customers. So actually, first of all, let's head over to contacts. This is basically going to be, I guess, the most important part of the whole HighLevel interface, because right here you can then essentially see all of the different people that you've either contacted in the past or currently are messaging, which you're currently making money with, and so on. Now, if you, for example, are migrating from another tool, you can also easily import your contacts by simply just putting in a CSV file onto this. So let me quickly do this. I'm just going to drag this onto this, and you will then basically have to map the correct data fields. Essentially, this just means that you will have to connect the right data from the spreadsheet onto the actual high-level information. So right here on the left, we can see the column header from the file. This would be first name, and by default, they've actually automatically detected this. They are going to select first name right here. The email thing right here is also good, contact or basically phone number also, and basically usually they already do a pretty good job by default of actually detecting all of the different types of information. If you, for example, would want to add the associated company, we could do so by simply just then selecting company name right here. And now we have also imported the company name for each of the different contacts. So let's actually now just select that we don't want to import all of the other data which we haven't mapped, and then I'm just going to click on next. So we can then actually also select our import name, and we can actually dive into the advanced information and advanced settings if you do want to. I'm not going to do that. Let's now actually simply just submit this so that we are going to have some sample leads and sample contacts which we can work with. Great, now our contacts got added. Now when having some contacts like we have right here, this seems super organized. However, when you do have 10, 20, 30, 50, hundreds or thousands of contacts, this can get messy quite fast. So I would recommend you to, for example, use these filters right here. And like this, you can just filter based on the business name, email. You can actually also filter based on the contact information and so on. Or you can actually also add tags to certain kind of contacts. Meaning that with these tags, you can then basically subdivide your whole contact lists into different interests, niches, and so on. So let's, for example, say that we are going to select the Jeff Bezos contact right here, and we are going to add a tag onto this, and we could then actually align the Jeff Bezos contact onto a tag. But let's actually not do that right now. So basically right here you can then see there are different kind of contacts, and you can then see the different information like the name, phone, email, or the create time. If you do want to basically add certain kind of other columns, other information fields onto this, you can do so by simply just customizing this on here, and you can then basically show any information that you want to. But let's not do that right now. Let's rather actually open up this contact, and this is now going to show us the contact view. This can look a little bit intimidating, but it's quite simple. On the left you are going to see the general overview of all of the different information fields of your contact. And then on the bottom left you are going to have the action tag. So once again right here you can then add different kind of tags onto this. So if we would want to add the high volume client tag, we could add that right here. Additionally, we can then actually also add this contact onto an automation or onto an opportunities funnel, but more on that later on. So right here in the middle, you are then going to see an overview of your conversation. This is basically going to track all of the different emails that you have received from this contact and that you have sent out. And because HighLevel does actually also seamlessly integrate with your email providers, you can actually also right inside here send out an email. On the right, you're then going to get an in-depth field of the activity, tasks, notes, appointments, documents, as well as the actual payments that this contact actually has been assigned to. Now adding tags manually can actually take quite a lot of time, so let's actually rather head over to sites right here. Under sites, we are then going to have funnels, website, stores, analytics, blogs, WordPress, client portal, and we are then also going to have forms, surveys, and the chat widget. Let's get started with the forms thing right here. Let's click on builder, and let's now create a new form. In this case, I'm just going to rename this to email sign up form. And we can then actually customize this by selecting each of the fields right here, and we can then see all of the settings on the right. So if we do want to make this required, we can set that right here, or if we do want to basically delete certain kind of things, we can also do that inside here. Let's now actually just save this. Of course, you can also customize this, but I will not get into that right now. Let's now opt out of this. Now head over to funnels. Now I've actually imported my example funnel, which you are going to get when actually signing up through my link down below. However, you can of course also use any other funnel templates. However, I wouldn't recommend you to go with the default GoHighLevel templates, as these oftentimes do look very old school and I personally don't really like them. So to now access the editor, click right here on edit. And then you are going to be redirected onto the GoHighLevel website editor. Now, this is going to be fairly simple to other website builders. If you, for example, have used some in the past, you are going to be good right here. So you first of all are going to see a preview of the website right here on the left, and you can then actually select each certain kind of elements. And once you've selected them, you are going to see all of the settings on the right. This is going to be basically grouped between general, animations, and advanced. Advanced we won't need for now. Let's rather actually head back to general. So right here we can then select the element name. This would be headline in this case. We can select the background color, opacity, letter spacing, text alignment, and we can also change the general stuff like font size, font weight, typography type, and a lot more. Now if you do want to change the preview of this right here, you can actually also change this to mobile. You can do so using these buttons right here. Additionally, on the left, you are then going to have the option to add different kind of elements. Right here on the sections and rows, we can basically add kind of containers where we can then actually add other elements like headline, subheadings, paragraphs, and so on onto. So let me actually demonstrate you this. Let's now just create a new section. And we can then actually add a row onto this. I'm just going to create a 2-column row. And now we are going to have 2 different containers where we can then add the actual elements onto. So this can be headline, subheading, paragraph, bullet list, and a lot more. You can see it on screen right here. So let's, for example, now just add a normal headline right here. I don't know. We can then change the text. So I'm just going to change the color to white. We can then change the alignment to the left. Let's change the font size to something like 50, and we can then basically play around with the styling of this. We can then also add another element on the right. So let's, for example, now let's just add an image onto this, and we can then put any kind of image onto this, obviously by simply just clicking right here, and you can then add whatever you want. So actually, let me now show you how to connect the form that we have created earlier onto this funnel. To do so, for example, simply just select this button right here, and then right here on the bottom right, you can see the actual button action. So in this case, this is going to be correct by default. We are going to just have to select open pop-up. However, you are also going to have quite a lot of other options out there. And to now view this pop-up, head over to the top left right here, and then right here on the left, you can then actually see the pop-up settings. So this is how the actual pop-up is going to look by default. What we can now do, we can now add a new row onto this. I'm just going to add a 1-column row, and we can now add a new element, and let's actually now look for the form element which we've created earlier. So let's now actually select our email form, and now we are going to have a perfect form which is now going to get the first name, phone, and email of our potential subscribers. Of course, we can also further customize this by actually adding other elements onto this, but I'm not going to do that right now. Let's now actually click on close right here. You are then also going to have the option to change the background, the general typography for your store, and you can then actually also access the custom CSS settings if you do want to. And you can then of course continue customizing and creating your site. You can then access different kind of elements, you can customize them, and you can actually also add animations right here on the right if you do want to. Once you are ready, click on save right here, and you will then have to actually get into the SEO metadata on the left. So right here you will have to put in the title, description, as well as some keywords which are going to be crucial for your site, and this is basically just going to be used for your site to actually rank high on Google search. And once you are done with that, you can actually publish your site. Additionally, I would obviously recommend you to add a professional domain onto your site. You can do so by just clicking on connect domain right here, and you can then simply just add and edit your domains inside the settings of your funnels, which will then basically allow you to connect everything. So right here you can see the domain settings. This is actually in the general settings of your account, and you can then add a new domain, and this will actually automatically then show you all of the different DNS records which you will have to add. Now, if you don't already have a domain, I would recommend you to use Hostinger. It's by far the cheapest and most reliable option out there. I will leave you a link down below. Either way, let's now opt out of this. Let's now head over to marketing right here. And by the way, I'm showing you everything in depth because I think all of these features inside HighLevel are going to be super important, and it doesn't really matter if you're going to use HighLevel for your own business on your own or if you are going to use HighLevel for your agency. This is going to be important for everyone. So right inside here in the marketing feature, we are then going to have the option to basically have a social planner to see all of the different basically social media posts which are going to be pushed out in the future. However, we are also going to have the option to actually create email campaigns. So right here, HighLevel basically allows you to create full-on email marketing campaigns inside your basically HighLevel dashboard. You're going to have the option to choose between the sign editor, code editor, and plain text editor. I would recommend you to either go for plain text editor or the sign editor if you are just starting out. So I'm just going to select it right now. And now we are going to have this right here. And basically this is going to work pretty similar to tools like MailChimp, Brevo, and so on, in a sense where you can just drag and drop all of the different elements on the left and you can then add all of the different images. Now I actually come from an email marketing background, so I generally have to say that these features inside HighLevel right here are pretty advanced and you aren't going to basically miss out on any features when choosing HighLevel over other tools. You can of course also select certain elements. You can then change the paragraph, Arial font, so basically the font, the text size, as well as all of the other styling options right here. And you can then actually also manage all of the elements. You can change the appearance, you can change, basically you can enable A/B testing, and you can then actually also add saved elements. I'm not going to do that right now. Let me now actually show you how to set up automations. This is going to be one of the most powerful things in HighLevel, and in general, these workflows or automations are actually great to kind of streamline a lot of the processes inside your agency, inside your account, to then basically not have to waste time, okay? So to get started, just click on create workflow right here. And HighLevel, this is something which I really like, does actually offer you quite a lot of different default templates which you can all use. Now, I'm not going to do that right now. I'm just going to start from scratch to give you guys an idea on how to actually basically build this up. So this builder right here is going to be quite basically quite visual, in a sense where you are going to see an overview. You can then see the trigger, and you can then actually also see the plus icon right here, as well as the actual end. To get started, we will have to add a starting point, so a trigger, onto a workflow. This can be anything from birthday reminder to a task being added, or to different appointments being created, opportunities status changed, affiliate, courses, basically anything. I'm just going to say that this automation in our case is going to get started when a contact is being created. And I'm then just going to save the trigger. You can actually also add other triggers, so basically multiple triggers onto your automation, which I actually really like. A lot of other email marketing tools, for example, don't offer this. And right here we can then add an action. So in this case, we can then, for example, send out an email. Let's actually select this, and we could then, for example, create a welcome email to then actually welcome this contact onto our email list. So to do this is pretty straightforward. You will just have to insert the from name, from email, subject, and you can then actually also select any of the email templates to further customize this. And this essentially is going to work similar to the actual email building process, which I've just showed you beforehand. Let's now actually also click on the plus, and basically let's dive into that deeper. We are going to have multiple different action types. First of all, contact. This is basically going to be stuff around your contact. You can remove assigned users, you can remove a contact tag, you can add contact tags, and so on. And then under communication, you're then basically going to get the option to basically send out emails, send SMS. You can also connect Slack, and this is basically all going to be around communication and sending out stuff. Also, you can actually simply just use this conversation AI feature, but more on that later on. Right here under send data, you can then enable webhooks, custom webhooks, as well as Google Sheets. By the way, don't be confused from these crowns right here. You can still use these actions. However, you are only going to get, I think, 100 or 1000 free actions, and then you are going to have to pay a small amount per each action. This isn't going to be something substantial. However, make sure to just keep that in mind. You are then also going to have internal tools. These are basically useful to then split your campaigns, to then basically A/B split test. You can then actually also do basically anything that you could imagine. You can even do math operations, you can add them to a workflow, and a lot more. And you can actually also use this workflow AI, so basically GPT, to use OpenAI and GPT inside this workflow. And there are basically tons of other options out there. Basically, you can do anything you want to. Let's now actually save this and let's now actually opt out of this. Additionally, if you do want to create courses, you can do so by heading over to memberships right here, and you're then going to have the option to create new courses. You can also create new communities. This is going to work fairly simple, basically fairly similar to school, for example, and you can then actually also put out and basically give out certificates for your course members if this is something which you want to. The opportunities tab right here is also super important. Right here you can basically just create a CRM, so basically a visual pipeline of all of the different deals which you have going on, and this is a great feature to basically keep track of all of the different ways of making money with your business. So right here just click on add pipeline, and then you will have to create a new pipeline. I'm just going to name this test pipeline, and we will then have to put in the different kind of stage names. So I'm just going to get started out with qualifying, meeting booked, proposal, negotiation, and we can then actually save this. And now we are going to have this test pipeline available. We can actually also change the view of this right here on the right, but I would recommend you to just leave this at the normal Kanban view. Additionally, once you are going to have multiple opportunities and deals inside here, this can also get messy quite fast, so you can actually use these filters right here to once again basically sort through this. But let's now add a new opportunity onto this. I'm just going to select one of the contacts which we have added. I'm just going to select Jeff Bezos in this case, and now most of the details basically automatically have been filled out, but let's just change the opportunity value to something like 100k for now. So I'm just going to create this, and now we are going to have this available right here. We can then drag this around, and we can then actually also set this exact card either as lost, abandoned, or as won. So in this case, we are then actually also going to see that this is a high volume client. We've set this up beforehand, and we can actually also use these quick actions to add tasks or add nodes onto this. Or if you do want to manage the fields, you can actually also do that. This is going to come soon in the future. If you're now going to open this up, you're then once again going to see the same exact view which we've already looked at the start of today's video. And now we can actually see that we do have some new activity right here. Basically the opportunity now has been updated and has been created. Now that's basically it. If you guys still need help with anything, make sure to let me know in the comments down below, and I will try to make a video on that topic as soon as possible. Also make sure to sign up with HighLevel through my link if you guys do want to get access to my bonuses, and if you guys do want to support me for completely free. That's it, I will see you in the next one.